Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today I received my new seasonal box. This is from Aussie Craft Cutters and this is their winter box. And I figured since it's July and us people in the US do winter in July, let's, open it up and see what we got. I already took a sneak peek obviously in this, but I really wanted to show you everything before we start creating with it. So one of the things that you will get is a silk screen, and these are the sticky back ones. And what's nice is you write your the word back on there, and then as long as you can read it, you'll know that you're putting the paper back on the proper way. And I just want to pull this apart. Right, there we go. Just to show you how easy it is. So you just pull it off, you'll stick this on whatever you're using this on. You could do this on wood, which I love the concept of using stuff like this on wood. You could use it on glass, you could use it on clay. There's a lot of things you could use this particular silk screen with. And then there'll be instructions that come along with it. And then we have, you know what, I'm going to save that for last because those are beautiful. Here is a rolling pin, and I think this one is so adorable. It's not Christmassy. So some people don't celebrate Christmas. Like, I don't really celebrate Christmas, but I do celebrate winter time. And I love, going sledding with my kids and things like that. And this has like little winter houses and trees and hearts and snowflakes and little deer. And I mean, it's adorable. It is absolutely adorable. So you'll get that. You also get two little reindeer which I think is just adorable. I thought these were just so darn cute that I can't wait to play around with those. And then you'll get your snowflakes. Everybody does snowflakes, but these snowflakes have little imprints. And I love when you have the imprints because you could either use them or not use them. And it kind of gives you different options of different ways, I should say, of using these cutters. So you could do it with the detail on it, or you could just have the outline or use them together. So I like that. So you'll get a big one and a small one. You will get little stones that kind of go with it. So these look like little snowflakes, and there's little beads. Let me see. These are beautiful. Can you see how pretty those are? I think these are gorgeous. And green is one of my favorite colors. So you got these gorgeous little crystals here. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful pieces. She gives you the little pins. She gives you the clips, the earring findings, all different types of things in this particular kit. And then you will get a cutter with an imprint that says family. So what I like about this is it's for a keychain. So you'll see this little indent here. That's where you'll poke your hole, and then you can attach a jump ring and then put your little keychain piece on there. She includes that as well, which is super nice. And you'll have a beautiful family keychain. So great little gift to give people. And then you have your coaster cutter. And then she also gives you the cork backing, which is really nice because you don't see a lot of kits that include stuff like that. And then the best part about this coaster set is you will get these 4 scenes. And I just thought these scenes or papers, however you want to put the winter scenes, were just gorgeous. I mean, can you see how beautiful that is? I love the winter scenes. I don't like the cold, I'll tell you that right out. I hate cold, but I do love how it looks. And look how gorgeous. So today I decided for this particular kit, we are going to work on the coasters because I just thought the papers were too pretty not to do them. And they'll make a gorgeous gift for somebody if I don't decide to keep them for myself. And then at another time, I'm going to use these snowflake stamps or imprints with the cutters. And I'm thinking of either making earrings with these or a necklace. And I was also thinking about putting these snowflakes on like a barrette for a little girl. I thought that would be super cute. So lots and lots of options in this particular kit. But today we're going to work on our coasters. So I'm going to grab my Cernic clay. And then I'm going to roll this out, condition it, do all that fun stuff. And then we're going to start working on these right away because I think these are going to be a really, really nice, nice gift for somebody. I'm going to get my sharp blade. I saved these ones for cutting thicker clays like this because they just work beautiful. Okay, so now let me run these through my pasta machine. All right, guys, I rolled out my clay. What I did was I rolled it out to like the middle section of my pasta machine. Because we are putting these on the cork when they're done, you don't need them very thick, so don't waste your clay. Just make them pretty thin if you want. I'm also going to use one of these, and the reason I'm going to use one of those is because then I can lift it up and put it right into my oven without stretching my clay. So what I want to do in order to do that is kind of just cut my clay exactly where I want it to be. So let me just trim it up. Now you don't have to do this, but I don't want to stretch my clay out. So that's why I am going to do it this way. And then afterwards, you can just kind of clean it up with the, what do you call it? I'm drawing a blank here today with the cutter. I'm sorry. So put that down right on there. And then I'm going to put my first one right on and let that sit there for a little bit. You just want to kind of burnish it on. Make sure that paper is on there well. Don't worry about if it's a little dirty on the edges. Not a big deal. You could also kind of just mark that and then kind of cut around it that way. And then, oh, let's put this on here. There we go. And you can see I'm not cutting it all the way through. I'm just marking it because I want to make sure that that paper goes in the right areas. I love these papers. They're so pretty. I really want to think of something fun to do with these besides just regular coasters. So as we are going, I'm going to kind of try to come up with some little ideas of how to really decorate these and bring them to life. All right, so I'm going to get my water bottle, and now I'm just going to kind of start spraying these down. And you want to get it completely wet so it dissolves the paper. Okay. Now I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to put it on like an angle like this. Don't go straight down. Put it on a slight angle, and then you could easily just start pulling that paper off. And you don't want to push very hard because then you run the chance of actually cutting your clay. So you don't want to do that. And then you get all that extra paper and put that in your garbage can. Some people will tell you you can rinse it off underneath the sink. I don't recommend putting paper in your sink drains, but so that's why I kind of do it like this. And this way all that paper goes right in the trash bin. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting it re-wet, and then I'm going to rub my fingers over it just to get that extra paper off that didn't come off. Now when I'm rubbing it lightly. I'm not doing it hard. And the nice thing about it is you could feel the difference between the paper and the clay. So you'll know right away if there's paper still on there. And then I just take it one more time and go right over. And then I got all this extra paper here. And then I just take a little bit of wipey and I'm just going to kind of clean it up a little bit. Get any extra stuff right off the sides. And now I'm going to let that completely dry. And just do that with all of your pieces. See, look at all that paper. Do you see how beautiful these are? Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I think these are so pretty. So the next thing I'm going to do is just keep them right on this tray. And then I'm going to start cutting my pieces out. So you just line it up and then press down. And you're going to press down, on the, not in the middle, you press down on the sides, guys, because you don't want a chance breaking your cutters. There we go. I mean, it's a perfect little shape here. It matches up beautiful. All right, now we have all our pieces cut out. So now we have the fun part of trying to decide how we want to decorate these. Do we want to add stuff to them? Do we just want to keep them the way they are? There's so many options here at this point. I know for a fact I am going to add stuff to mine. So I have little snowflakes here and these little like fake diamond things. I mean, they're gorgeous. So that's what I am going to be decorating my pieces with. I just think having that little bit of extra sparkle or the little snowflakes, it's just going to make it fun. So I have my little wax tip here, and then I'm just going to start taking some of these and putting them right on here. You could also make it easy on yourself and just kind of sprinkle them around. And it just gives it that little extra, you know, sparkle. So if there's any special place that you want them, you could pick them up with your piece, or you could just kind of lay them out like that and then push them around where you want them, and then you could push them down. So I'm just going to take my little tools here and just press them down, or you could even take a piece of paper and press them down like that. I mean, there's a lot of different options that you can do when it comes to playing with these pieces. You could take, let's see here, there's so many things you could do. Now you don't want to touch the ink yet because it's still a little wet. So take your baby powder and just go over it a little bit. There we go. And then just rub that down. And then your pieces are in there. Can you see that sparkle? I love that sparkle. So sometimes your ink will remain sticky. So if you want to avoid that, like making marks into your clay, you just put a little bit of baby powder over it. And that baby powder will absorb into your piece. So you don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to add a little bit more right on this tree, because I really want my little trees to sparkle. So right down here. So just don't think you're limited on how to do things. You know, really kind of play around with your stuff and have fun with it. I'm just trying to show you all the different ways that you can do different things. And then eventually you'll just find one easy way. So this is the easiest way. Can you see how beautiful? That's going to look gorgeous. So that one I'm going to leave just like that. This one, I definitely want to add my snowflakes, because I love these little snowflakes. And I don't need a lot. I just want to use some of them. And then I'm just going to add just a tiny bit of my stones right in the tree lines here. Just to give it that little shimmer. And right on the snow bottom here. So each one I'm going to do slightly different. All right, so we got our little sparkles here. We have snowflakes on this one. Let's try something a little bit different on these two. All right, so for this one, we're going to add like little bubbles, because I think these are going to look really cool if we just kind of push them in there a little bit. Well, what I'm going to do to make sure that they stay on is just add a little bit of liquid clay. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. And then just take my little stick and spread it. You don't need a lot of this. Just spread it where you want it. And I'm going to do a very thin coat. And that'll help make sure that my little bubbles or little snowballs, however you want to put it, stay where they're supposed to stay. And then I'll just start putting them where I want them. And let's put a little bit right here. I just love doing different things. It's fun. It makes the stuff unique and different. I guess my whole point of doing stuff like this is really to show you guys that you can do things out of the ordinary. You don't have to always do the same thing over and over, and really just have fun with your pieces. And you could use so many things that are just laying around your house. Like now these I had for a different project. So I'm just thinking, why not use them? I have them. And it's cute. And we are going to put resin on these, so we don't have to worry about things not fitting on there properly if they stick up a little bit. There we go. Look how cute that's going to look. How fun is that? And then this one, I'm going to use my ice resin. This is like the opal flakes. And this, I'm just going to add a little bit of my liquid clay too. just spread it about. So if I can encourage you guys to do anything, it's going to be to have fun with this kit. You see, I'm just spreading it very thinly on here. And then I'm going to take this and just sprinkle it around where I want it. And it's going to go right where my snow is basically falling. Can you see how beautiful that looks? So how pretty is that going to be? So now I'm going to place these all in my oven. And then after they're done in the oven, we'll come back and we'll finish these completely up. All right, guys, my pieces are out of the oven. They're completely cooled off. The next step that I want to do is take my No More Nails. I love this stuff. It works fabulous with the clay and like mixed media projects. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of this on. You do not need overly too much. And then I'm just going to take it and get the entire thing covered. So just spread it over. You want to make sure you're at least getting the edges here, like right along the edge. That way you know your piece will not pop off. And then just take a wipey and wipe your hands. And then you just stick it on and let that dry. It doesn't take overly too long for it to set. It'll tell you it's going to take about 24 hours for it to 100% cure. But I have worked with it after a few minutes, and it stays on there. You don't have to worry about it. Like right now, you can see it's still a little wet. So I'm going to give this a little bit of time. I'm going to say about 10 minutes to completely, get on there well. And then we will trim everything up. All right, so while these are completely drying, we're going to start putting my UV resin on. Normally, I would do my 2-part resin and just let it set overnight. But because I want to give it a different look and have like certain things pop out, and I'll show you as I go, I'm actually going to use the UV resin. So we'll start with this one. And what I am going to do is just put a thin layer on. And like I said, normally I would do the 2-part, but this particular time I'm going to do UV resin. It's faster. You can kind of play with it in between and stuff like that. All right, I'm just going to take a paintbrush and then just go over it and just spread it. And I'm not going to go over the edge. I'm just going right to the edge. And I'm going to do this a couple times, and I'll show you why. It's going to look really nice. All right, so that's the first layer of that one. Let me get my lighter. Pop any holes, pop any bubbles that might be in here. We don't want bubbles in here. And then we'll put this under our light. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So basically, I'm going to do the same thing with each one. And I'm going to go over this 2 times. But the first layer is going to be the very thin layer, because we just want a little lift, I guess you could say. I also sanded my sides before I glued these down, just to let you know. I did that off camera. Okay, so my first layer is cured. Now I'm going to take another one, do another layer. This one's going to be a little bit thicker. Spread that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take some of my little sparkles here and just sprinkle them right around. You don't have to push anything in, just sprinkle it around the whole thing. And it will give you this beautiful 3D look. Just move those around where you want them. And I just want to get enough resin to cover these little bubbles. That's all. I really need to make sure that those little bubbles are covered. And then I want to take some of the small bubbles, not the big ones, just the small ones, and kind of lay those there to give it that little bit of, just to give it a little bit more of a, it's popping out kind of thing at different levels. Oops. All right, pop any bubbles. And put that under your light. And I'm just going to keep doing this over and over with each one of these till I get the look that I'm going for. You can see I'm not pushing these ones down. I'm leaving them right on the top. And that way it'll give it the different levels. You see how pretty that looks? I hope that you can see that without too much of a glare. So now I'll put one more coat on, and that'll cover up the last of these bubbles, and then this piece will be done. This is why I like the two-part thing, because you do use quite a bit of resin on these. But because I want to do the different levels and I'm doing a video, I don't have time to really kind of wait days to do this for you guys. So I'm just going to use my resin. I'm just going to use my UV resin. Do you see how beautiful that looks? Now I'm going to do one more coat on this just to cover up those last snowflakes. And then this one will be done as well. I hope you guys can see all the detail on these pieces as much as I can see them, because they are absolutely beautiful. Okay. Let me put this. Let me open up my next one. So now, because I blew all that air basically from my one that's almost empty, I'm going to have to let this sit for a little bit to really get the bubbles out. So if you get a lot of air in your UV resin, just let it sit for a little bit before you hit it with a lighter. I love how these are coming out. They look so nice. And the neat thing is you could keep layering these as much as you really want and really get those snowflakes to pop. So let me run my lighter over this. I'll let this sit for a few minutes and then I'll run my lighter over it again. Let me do my thin coat here. And if you guys want to just stop right here, you can. You don't have to do as much as I'm doing. I just love the look of the different layers. So that's why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing. Okay, look at that one. Can you see how gorgeous that looks? I love this. I think it's beautiful. So now I'm going to let this sit and kind of rest and let that glue really sit on there well before I trim anything up. So let's work on these ones for the time being. We'll get this all layered up as well. And I'm going to, oops, and I'm going to mix this one up and do different kind of sparkles on here. So I'm not going to just do the ice opals because I already got a bunch of ice opal on here. So now I'm going to end up putting a little bit more of a different glitter on here. Okay, for this one we're going to add some snowflakes as well, but we're only going to do one layer of snowflakes and then a little bit more glitter. I really want to make each one different. All right, let me get my little snowflakes. Remember, just set them right on the top. Don't push them down. Just let them fall right into it. For this one, I'm going to add what they call fairy dust. Just make that really shine and sparkle. And then what I like to do is just kind of mix it in there. Don't leave it at the top because then it just kind of makes it look dull. But if you kind of mix it up and push it where you want, all that beautiful glitter will go exactly where you want it to go and stay in those areas, and it'll just look gorgeous. So you'll get all that extra sparkle on top of the ice resin. And pop any bubbles. Can you see that so far? So now I'll do one more coat and this one will be completely done. And then we gotta just pop those one more time and then we're good on that one. Can you see how pretty that looks? I think it's beautiful. I'm really happy with these. So these are almost completely stuck on here. They're a little bit still wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let these completely set a little bit longer and then I'll trim everything up. But I want to show you what each one looks like completely done. While those are finishing up, I'm going to actually start trimming these. And you just take a pair of scissors and go right around. And it cuts very easy. Just follow your coaster. And look, is that not beautiful? I'm so happy with these. I think these will be a fabulous, not only gift, but a fabulous decor in your own house. I think they're great. There's that one. This is my favorite. I love this one. It's simple but beautiful. Just the snowflakes and that little bit of sparkle. There, look at that. Is that not gorgeous? I really love this kit. This kit is a lot of fun. I can't wait to do the little deer and the snowflake and use that roller as well. And lastly, this one. Is that not beautiful too? I just think these are great. I really do. I like this kit. I hope that you guys like it. I'll put everything in the description box or the description area if you guys are interested in getting this kit. I think that you can have a lot of fun making different things, and I'm sure you could find other papers on her site that you can make a bunch of these coasters, because I think these would be great. I know my mother-in-law would love these. Now what I'm going to do after this is completely dry and sealed, I'm going to put a little white paint right around all the edge and clean it up beautifully. And then you have a gorgeous set of coasters. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, check out my membership, and I will see you all next time. Bye.